Number 7. Chevrolet SSR, 2004 to 2006. Some cars fail because they were never good. The Chevrolet SSR failed for a more specific reason. It was a solution to a problem that did not exist, priced as though the problem was urgent. The SSR, Super Sport Roadster, was Chevrolet's retro-styled convertible pickup truck, powered initially by a 5.3-liter V8 and upgraded in 2005 to a 6.0-liter unit producing 390 horsepower. The performance figures were genuine. The identity was not. The truck bed was too small to be useful for actual truck purposes. The weight, approaching 5,000 pounds, undermined whatever sporting claims the styling was trying to make. The retractable hardtop was impressive engineering that added complexity, cost, and weight to a car already struggling to justify its $42,000 starting price. Approximately 24,000 units were built across 3 model years before Chevrolet discontinued the program. The SSR is on this list not because it was unreliable or dangerous, but because it represents a different kind of failure. Building something expensive without first proving there was a real reason for it to exist. Number 6. Pontiac Aztek, 2001 to 2005. The Aztek belongs on this list for a reason that goes beyond styling, though the styling is where most conversations about it begin and end. The Aztek arrived in 2001 as GM's attempt at an affordable adventure crossover. The execution produced a vehicle whose exterior generated immediate and sustained negative reaction. Pontiac had projected selling 75,000 units per year. In its first year, they sold approximately 11,000. But the deeper problem was not what the Aztek looked like. It was that the car tried to be too many things: adventure vehicle, family hauler, budget crossover, and succeeded fully at none of them. The front-wheel drive platform limited its off-road credibility, and the interior was undermined by cost-conscious material choices. GM had correctly identified a segment that would explode in the years that followed. The problem was that they reached it first and got it wrong. The Aztek did not fail because it was ugly. It failed because it was a car that could never quite decide what it was, and buyers, given better alternatives, made the same decision. Number 5. Ford Focus, 2000 to 2007. The Ford Focus arrived in the American market with genuine promise: European-influenced handling, distinctive styling, and the kind of press reception that suggested Ford had produced something worth choosing over the Japanese competition. The ownership experience that followed made that reception look increasingly generous. Transmission failures were a consistent complaint in automatic models. Ignition coil failures left owners stranded repeatedly. Power steering failures occurred particularly in cold weather conditions. Engine mount failures caused vibrations that owners found difficult to diagnose and dealers found expensive to resolve. The electrical system accumulated faults involving window regulators, door locks, and dashboard warning systems. Consumer Reports listed the Focus among the least reliable compact cars year after year. The irony noted frequently in automotive media was that the European Ford Focus of the same era was well-built and competitive. Ford of America had taken a good foundation and produced a car whose reliability record contradicted everything the launch press had suggested.
Number 4. Hummer H2, 2003 to 2008. The Hummer H2 was on this list not primarily for unreliability, but for the gap between what it was sold as and what it actually was, a gap that became harder to ignore as the decade progressed and fuel prices made the cost of that gap visible every time an owner pulled into a gas station. The H2 was built on a standard GM 800 truck platform, the same architecture under the Chevrolet Tahoe, rather than the serious four-wheel drive hardware of the original military H1. It returned approximately 9 to 10 miles per gallon in combined driving, among the least fuel-efficient passenger vehicles in the American market during a period of rising fuel prices. The interior did not consistently match its $50,000-plus price. Off-road capability, while present, did not match the expectations created by the Hummer name in the eyes of many owners and reviewers. When fuel prices rose sharply in the mid-2000s, H2 sales declined steeply and GM discontinued the brand in 2010. The H2 did not just sell an image it could not substantiate. It asked buyers to pay for that image every time they filled the tank, and over time, many decided it was not worth it. Number 3. Chrysler Sebring, 2007 to 2009. Some cars fail quietly in ways that only become fully visible when you realize how many people noticed and how few of them said anything until it was too late for the product to matter. The Chrysler Sebring of the late 2000s arrived with the appearance of a competitive mid-size offering and the substance of something assembled without sufficient investment in the outcome. The interior drew immediate and sustained criticism. The quality of materials and execution placed it below every significant competitor in a segment that had become deeply demanding. The 2.7-liter V6 developed a documented reputation for sludge buildup that could lead to catastrophic failure in owners who did not maintain it to a strict schedule. Powertrain options were uninspiring, ride quality was unrefined, and the overall experience communicated that cost reduction had been prioritized over nearly everything else. Consumer Reports placed it among the least recommended vehicles in its class. The Sebring is on this list because it represented a Chrysler that had stopped competing honestly, asking buyers to trust a name while delivering a product the name no longer deserved to carry. Number 2. Chevrolet Malibu, 2004 to 2009. The Chevrolet Malibu of the mid-2000s is the kind of entry that belongs on a list like this not through spectacle but through accumulation, a car that failed the most important segment in the American market by delivering, year after year, exactly less than what buyers deserved. The 4-speed automatic transmission was already outdated when the car launched, while competitors were moving to 5- and 6-speed units. Intake manifold gasket failures in V6 models caused coolant leaks that, if unaddressed, led to engine damage. Power steering failures occurred with enough regularity to generate owner complaints. Interior materials placed the Malibu below Toyota and Honda competitors at every comparable price point, a gap that automotive journalists noted and buyers experienced. Consumer Reports gave it below-average reliability ratings across multiple years of this generation. The Malibu did not fail because GM did not know how to build a better car. It failed because GM delivered a car that made clear, year after year, that it was still not meeting the standard buyers already expected.
Number 1. Ford Escape, 2001 to 2005. Every car on this list failed the expectations it created. The Ford Escape belongs at number 1 because its failure was documented across multiple systems simultaneously, by owners, by Consumer Reports, and by NHTSA in a car competing directly against Japanese compacts that had made reliability their primary selling point. The Escape was Ford's entry into the compact SUV segment, positioned against the Honda CR-V and Toyota RAV4. Transmission failures were a consistent and documented complaint, particularly in V6 models, at mileages buyers considered well within normal service life. Power steering failures created handling situations owners described as concerning. Throttle body issues caused stalling and erratic engine behavior. NHTSA opened investigations covering fire risk and steering failures, regulatory attention that placed it among documented safety concerns of the era. Consumer Reports gave it below-average reliability ratings year after year. The Escape failed across enough systems, at enough scale, and with enough regulatory attention that the gap between Ford and its Japanese competitors became impossible to ignore.